Hello again, YouTube. Jake here, and welcome back to Reading Too Much Into Things. Thinking back to the previous episode, even as I wrote it, I knew I shouldn't judge the arc of the world from evil to good around how other series treated evil to good Ranger arcs, rather. A show should stand on its own merits. However, I also believe that no media is made in a vacuum. And by comparing similar story arcs, character designs, themes, and other storytelling devices, we can help shape, at least in our own minds, why one may work and the other doesn't, or why we can accept one trope over the other. And that's why I look towards the examples of evil Rangers turning good that I did, because part of why I feel this one loses its impact is to do with how quickly the turn came around. We don't get a sense, as quickly as Yamato does, that there is good in the world. We simply get a scene that tells us he's likely being controlled. Once. And about 5 minutes of the rest of the team not convinced before they instantly are. But enough about me trying to dig into the virtues and vices of reviewing something based on other similar source material. Let's move on and see how team dynamics are changed with episode 20, Sekai no Oja, Monarch of the World. We start off with the team introducing themselves to Misao, including that 4 of them are Jyuman. Misao is a bit terrified by this. So much so that, even when dragged to Mario's, he refuses to put a shirt on. Okay, let me unpack this, because even as a gag line, that was really dumb. The idea is that, now no longer under mind control or Genesis' influence, it's unclear exactly how he was being controlled, since he seems to have a drastically different personality as Misao as he did from the world. He feels unending guilt towards his actions, and especially for the Jyuman who he blames himself for taking their life force. Which leaves a couple of glaring problems for me, but I'll sum them up like this. If you feel that guilty, why did you agree to come to Mario's? You are clearly a grown man. You were seemingly kidnapped from Earth and not, say, grown in a lab on the Death Alien ships. You must have some income since you have pants. If you do not feel worthy accepting their help, be it food or pants, or even teaming up with them, and feel guilty for what you've done, then go back home, or wherever it was the Death Aliens kidnapped you from. Yes, you may get attacked again, but fun fact, you're the world now. Speaking of, Genis orders his 2 team leaders to bring the world back. I don't get this. It's like the show is mocking its characters for trying to have dramatic backstories or character depth. And yeah, I get that the show itself is goofy, but this isn't One Punch Man, where the point is to lampoon over dramatic, overlong motivations and inner turmoil. And it can't even be that, cause when the Death Aliens are brought back in, the music becomes dramatic all over again. And now he's literally haunted in the goofiest manner possible. And even then, he is told to not feel his guilt, giving him excuse after excuse over why he shouldn't feel guilty. He just admitted that his own want for strength made him not resist as much as he might have otherwise. That's not annoying, it's character conflict. Anyways, once he's figured out which is the front door, Misao flees, Yamato following him and, in the morning, finding him on a park bench. But no time for growth, Moeba attack, and from what I can tell in 2 locations. And the Jyuohgers attack as well, the team split into 2. Where did the bowling player disappear to? So yeah, the 2 fights go on in the 2 locations, each playing out similarly. The team leaders asking, "Where's the world?" and the team getting beaten up. Thankfully, when we cut back to Yamato, he reminds us, the viewer, how guilty he felt at getting Larry's and Birdman's powers before. You know, when the show thought that was important and not worth mocking. Misao reminds him that while Larry and Birdman gave their powers willingly, in his case the 3 Jyuman had no choice. To pull away from this, Yamato gets called on his Mark of Kings by Bulbhead, who along with Cubehead have captured the other 4 and want to trade them for the world. For as we all know, a villain such as this would hold up their end of the bargain. And because Yamato A. accepts that Misao doesn't want to fight, and B. cares about strangers enough to not want to hand them over, heads off to save the team by himself. And really, since we are not told Cubehead gets stronger every time he's defeated, seeing how easily Yamato beat him last time, this shouldn't be too hard of a fight. But no, like any new power, it's been nerfed since its release, as he gets overpowered by the 2 team leaders in his ape form. All the while, Misao, haunted by the Jyuman Wait, where'd their I'm a Ghost headbands go? Anyways. No, not anyways. They reveal they're just figments of his imagination, so they should still have had the ghost things and... This episode makes no sense tone-wise! So he decides to fight, as a means of atoning for his guilt. Because the imaginary rhino made the most sense to him. And so now we get a proper transformation for him, as well as his own roll call as Monarch of the World, topped off by him adding Jyuo to his title of the World. Something that Go On Wings took their whole series to end up doing, but that's a different show entirely. So the world engages the 2 team leaders, along with Yamato, so we don't forget that the world has been likely nerfed as well. But we can confirm he still has 6th Ranger super speed in wolf form, as well as improved strength in crocodile form. After all, if there's anything the Rhino is known for, it's being a force of balance. And of course, he still has his Super Beast mode, like they'd get rid of something that awesome and toyable. The finisher, now called World the Crash, and leading to the humor of Bulb using Cube as a shield since he'll just grow back anyways. This knocks the Marks of Kings away from them, and somehow the others escape their very metal chain holdings despite not being cut free from it. Anywho, the 2 team leaders retreat and... oh hey, there's the bowling player. Still a giant. Though, it is interesting that the world here, we have 3 Jyuo colors at once, black, silver, and either bronze or less likely gold. So yeah, the world heads out in his cube animals, and shows off for no real reason that he can jump between the 3 Zords, despite, well, controlling all 3 at once beforehand. That was dumb! And so our episode ends with Masao heading off alone, letting the team know he'll come running if they need his help. Only when Yamato gives him a nickname and offers to grab a bite with him sometime, for him to instantly run back over. Crushway realized that Yamato was just being polite, and instead makes cute in general, but creepy in context, friendship dolls of his new Jyuman buddies. This episode sucked. I'm sorry, but just between the tonal whiplash of making fun of his guilt to remembering, oh right, we already had people feel guilty, to the hard character shift from super confident, egotistical, the world to needy, desperate Masao, not to mention the weird ghost, not ghost, rhino, croc, and wolf figments, this episode just sucks. And when he is confident, i.e. during the Megazord battle, we get some of the lamer, more random, look how cool he is scenes that do not make sense, since what we did see before was already cooler than what he's showing now. Oh, he can jump between the 3 cube animals and control them and make them do complex attacks? Guess what? He could already control all 3 at once and have their attacks be complex enough to take on multiple Jyuohger's cube animals at once. Speaking of constantly in flux coolness powers, let's move on to Kamen Rider Ghost, wherein Two Feathers last accepted the Ganmeiser offer to become one with them, so as to grant Two Feathers access to the source of the Ganma world's power that the Ganmeisers are guardians of. At least that's what I assume the source of power is supposed to be. Takaru has only 21 days left as we enter episode 38. Fukatsu! Eiyu no Tamashi. Revive the Luminary Souls. We open with a Japanese found footage horror film, and it's just hikers seeing Jyuohger raging. We cut to the temple where Daijob is getting treated for his muscle soreness from the forced training. I wish to remind you that those episodes were 24 days left and seemed from the editing to only cover a handful of hours. He and Spectre are still laid up 3 days later? Still, Spectre is still feeling the strange pain felt from fighting the doubles and wants some answers. We cut to the office where we confirm that Mugen Soul does evolve through emotions, despite being an instant win every time it does, so the spikes seem a bit drastic to me. Sage, however, states that it's good he has that, since he knows the Ganmeisers have been affecting the luminary icons several times when Takaru attempts to use them. But before he can explain it to Takaru, they are pulled away by goings-ons. Back in the Ganma world, as Two Feathers is seemingly swallowed into the source along with the Ganmeisers, Edith watches on. It seems unpleased by this turn. Back with the team, Akari really needs to stop saying there's no way that can exist by now. They find the raging Jyuohger, driven mad by his constant jobbering. And, once forced not to rage by Takaru, he sulks. And yes, this and Jyuohger's 20 came out on the same day. I changed the format. I think noticing these similarities like this will be what I miss the most of all. However, his sulking is interrupted by the Ganmeiser symbol appearing. Guess Takaru's Ganmeiser sense no longer works since Akari was needed to point it out. It's sad, really, since this chase pales in comparison to his role in Geki Rangers, where once he taught an American boy the true meaning of Christmas through kung fu and cross-dressing. Okay, I tell a lie. He used karate in that series, not kung fu. Back in the Ganma world, Edith is confronted by Arya. Back to Spectre. Oh, what a shock, attacked by the double. Though I can't tell if this is supposed to be the same double over again, or if there's just a factory line of them. They all look the same to me. Anywho, they start fighting. We jump over to Takaru, coming face to face with Two Feathers and the remaining Ganmizers. Just gonna say it here. Use Mugen. Do not even entertain using the other icons on this fight. A lot of the time when trying to use the luminary icons against the Ganmizers, or at least since they woke, you've been paralyzed by them. Save for that time with the Brothers Grimm were arguing and messed your form up from that. Yes, it'd be a struggle to fight all of them at once, but better to be a struggle you know you can get some kills in than using Grateful, whose attacks cannot even fully destroy the Ganmizer stones and they just come back stronger. To not use Mugen would be a sign of poor writing trying to pad out the episode. This is a sign of poor writing trying to pad out the episode. So, yeah, he uses Grateful form and summons up all his little luminary friends to fight alongside him. He himself rushes at Two Feathers, who easily knocks him back. And yeah, the other icons, they are not doing much better against the Ganmizers. Hell, the Ganmizers don't even take on battle forms. They're just, as Two Feathers, cutting right through them. This show of trust towards the icons is availing Takaru nothing. Also, Gyro is still alive. So yeah, Takaru gets the icons kicked out of him, and so, preparing to kill Takaru, Two Feather melds with the Ganmizers, taking on a new... Oh god, and it blooms. Why did you have it closed when bloomed looks so much better? And why is it a flower? Takaru finally pulls out Mugen and tries to rider kick Two Feathers, but cause it's not evolved through feelings this episode, he's knocked back for now. So Two Feathers retreats. Back at the temple, Sage tells Takaru that he told him so about the luminaries not being useful against the Ganmizers. 'Cause he did. But Takaru will hear none of this because belief! Back to Spectre's fight, I am still baffled how a normal Spectre icon can fight a Deep Spectre icon and somehow be even. Anywho, they slash each other, it's all exploding cool. We cut back to Two Feathers and yep! Maximum Clonage Spectre Edition! Back with Gilligan and the skipper, Onari and Jyuohger. Their chase had banged up the two a bit, Jyuohger having passed out before Onari's attempted CPR. Jyuohger, still in a sulking mood, expresses his crisis since, as once a proud fighter who now is being everywhere he turns, he questions his purpose, and his stomach questions when they'll eat next. To which Onari offers onigiris and the meat-filled versions of croquettes. Back in the Gamma world, Gyro demands a chance against Mugen, still wanting his own purpose. Back with Onari, he establishes a very true fact, that one cannot simply know their purpose, but they need to spend time and effort to find it themselves. Back to the temple, Takaru forces the icons to talk to him. Where is this coming from? When have we gotten a hint that Takaru was conflicted about using Mugen over the other icons? That he could somehow think the icons be mad over him winning the fight they set out to win? When did he assume they were mad and wouldn't tell him so? They can possess people or drag Takaru into the icons so that if they were mad about something, they could tell him. right to his face. Ah! Of course they're not mad at Takeru. He has grown past needing help from the souls of his heroes, and he needs to grow up to be his own hero. I assume that's the lesson they're going for anyways, because that's all I have left in my little bag of hope. Assumptions. Because if that's not the lesson they're going to go for, this show's message is even more troubling than I thought possible. Anyways, Urasen appears with bad news, so Takeru heads out to fight Gyro. And since he's here to beat Mugen, obviously, he just beats up Takeru before he transforms. So naturally, Takeru uses his most basic of forms. Why is he hesitant now to use Mugen form? Did we miss a story arc? This is a show where the bad guys constantly grow in strength only until the heroes unlock a new form or ability, and then the bad guys grow even more after that. So his basic ghost form would be the weakest choice to make at this point. To add to his dumb choice, he tries to use the Musashi icon, which does not activate for him, leading him to get the icons kicked out of him again. And taking a suit-shattering shot when Gyro tries to destroy the scattered icons. Wouldn't that mean his icon was shattered? Again? But no, this is just for a chance for Takeru to say to all his old heroes that he had the wrong information about in his Illuminary icon book, were what helped him become so strong now, so they all still have a purpose, and this really irks me. What could have been a moment of growth for Takeru, accepting that he has to move on from simple hero worship, is instead him kicking and screaming about, no, they're still the coolest and they can kick your butt fanboyism. This feels more like regression than character growth. So, Musashi's icon saves Takeru, and so for drama's sake, the opening theme starts playing. I'd rant about this as well, but this episode I've been cutting away to me far too much to begin with, so I'll keep it for my final thoughts on the series instead. So yeah, he starts wailing on the enemy grunts Musashi, and, to my surprise, when he switches to Himiko, it stays as base form as opposed to switching to Boosted Ghost. Still uses Boost's stupid sunglasses sword, so it makes a little difference other than the look. Same goes with the Ryoma icon and the Goemon when their turns come up. So yeah, he just works his way one after the another of using all the icons in his base form against Gyro. Excluding the ones that weren't his, like Houdini, Grimm, Tutankhamun, Sanzo, just his personal historical friends. And so, Takeru unleashes Grateful again, along with all the icons. All of them stand proud and release a grand, if narratively stupid, all-together rider kick. Jyuohger heads off with a lot to think about. And so, our episode ends with Takeru getting to still keep his childhood heroes, the bestest and coolest thing ever, not forced to give up his toys at all. Yeah, I don't like this episode. A lot. Nor the turn of events in it. I hate what this episode presents as its dramatic worry and its resolution. It presents as a horrible prospect that the luminary icons, based on historical figures who all had their time and place and had their set limitations as humans, may not be able to keep up with the growth of Takeru, our main hero, who admittedly gets too much Destiny Chosen One special treatment, but is still the protagonist. They are meant to grow as a symbol to the viewers. That the icons, outside of granting Takeru his wish to come back to life at the end, do not have a purpose on the field of battle anymore due to the constant evolution of the enemy and, as an answer, a constant evolution of Takeru's strength. And the resolution isn't that, sad as it is, When entering manhood, one should respect the heroes of the past, but become the hero of their own story in the present, setting aside the trappings and fixations of youth and instead see them as stories and lessons to learn from going forward. Nah, screw that. Cling to your childhood heroes for as long as possible. Drag them literally into modern day as opposed to leaving them in the past. I really hope I'm getting across clearly how regressive Takeru's refusal that he's outgrown the icons of the Luminaries is. How it's denying him a chance to literally grow up. He's 18 years old, for pity's sake, and that we're always hit over the head with that makes this feel like it could have been a great chance to tie that in thematically to moving on from childhood to adulthood. But instead, we are told in this episode, cling to that childhood. Do not let the trappings of your childhood go for an instant, because those are more important than your own growth. Anyways, next week Jyuohger is off again, which means, along with another episode of Kamen Rider Ghost, we have my next. Anyways, next week Jyuohger will be off again. I don't know which sport event knocked it off TV that week. Which means, with another episode of Kamen Rider Ghost, I get to have my next movie review with Kamen Rider the First. Thank you again all for watching Reading Too Much Into Things. I'm Jake, and as always, stay safe.